Hey, good morning. Doing a little sketch card this morning for a little promo packet I want to send out. I'm trying to keep this in shot as best as I can. Actually, I'm going to be doing a few of them here. Let's see. Let's do little shadows. I need to do purple. Tick of blue in there just to keep it cooled off pretty good. Having a kind of a dreary, what is today, Tuesday? Yesterday was definitely nicer, but as I've mentioned before, I tend to be affected by the weather, but today's doing pretty good. So I'm feeling pretty inspired today, actually, and energetic. So less artistically and more just business, which is a big deal for me. So I'm trying to keep that ball rolling. Made up a to-do list for the week. Something that I used to do all the time, but somewhere along the line I got out of the habit, and I feel like I'm kind of suffering for it. So my list includes stuff for both the books and personal, my stay-at-home dad stuff. So, top of all that, we got Free Comic Book Day and Star Wars Day happening on the same day on Saturday. I'm not doing anything specific for either. I actually have a class with my private student on Saturday, so I tend to leave, especially the Saturdays I have class, I tend to leave those as just sort of bonus wild card days for myself. Whatever I get done extra is just gravy, and because I don't really take full days off or whatever. So that's more or less my one day off, especially on the weeks that the girls aren't here on the weekend. My wife's working at her job that day, so I think she works in the morning, so she'll be home by the middle of the afternoon. And then it's just sort of a free day. And we relax and hang out and enjoy each other's company, and a little mommy daddy time, so to speak. So talked about maybe going out for Free Comic Book Day and hitting up a few of the shops. It's very strange not having any appearances scheduled. Last year I was at Need More Comics, and the folks that were running Need More decided to do a big life transition and move the shop to another state, which it was a bummer for me on one hand, because I felt like they were our friends and still do, and that we would kind of develop together as a family. But I was glad to see them take a step. I mean, they're back in Dayton now, and I don't know if it's. I hope it was, if nothing else, the whole experience was a learning experience for them, and they grew in some manner. Having been through that sort of thing myself, moving to a different place and, not having it work out the way you want, but still, coming away from it with just the feeling of gaining the experience, I think is at least as valuable as any other sort of monetary gain they might have gotten from it. So, long story short, Free Comic Book Day's open this year for us, which I'm all right with that. We just did Gem City last week, and having appearances back to back like that, despite the fact that we really are not very physical the whole time, it's very exhausting. So I'm okay with taking a little time to myself this week, and I have stuff scheduled to be done all this week anyways, so let's see. Obviously this is a Green Arrow piece. I like to make even little sketches like this. I like to make them a little more personalized. Being that this is for a promo packet, I did some research and checked out who's the folks that I'm sending this off to. I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't mention them, but I don't see why not. Now that I think about it, it's the promo packet for the guys and lady at Heroes by the Pint. Okay, Heroes by the Pint. I got it. Which is a podcast based here in Ohio. So local folks. They like to share local folks' work and whatnot, from what I've seen. If you're not familiar with it, go check it out. They're doing some good stuff. They got a YouTube channel by the same name, which is where I've been watching them. If you like beer, if you like comics, if you like nerd stuff, con stuff, it's a place to check out. So they were at Gem City, and they actually hosted the drink and draw, which again, I'm kind of a little bit bummed I didn't make it this year. But, family stuff is important too, and I was glad to be there. It was good to see everybody again. So, let's see. I'm looking at my photo reference there on the screen, my other screen. I don't think he's wearing a collar. I'm going to just go ahead and paint this. There. Actually. I've got is everything looks like it's that one shade of darker green, so I think what I'm going to do is get a little bit of ultramarine blue and add that. I don't know, that might be someplace to go afterwards. Let's see. I feel like the deep green is just a little bit too deep. With the blue, I might neutralize it now. It's not neutralizing. All right, gray. Throw a little gray in there. And bring it down a notch to start. All right, that's better. I feel like, here, let me show you. Okay, let's see. So this is what I'm working on, mixing right now. I got up there. So because this will be like the base coat, sort of the thinnest coat, and then I'm going to add more of each color on top of that, and just sort of layer it on one at a time. Yeah, my laptop just kicked out. Alright. I think I'm going to leave a little bit of light on the front. Give a little highlight. Usually I work on a slanted surface, and this is not. This is just my kitchen table. So it's not rolling as much as it might normally. The paint isn't sliding down the page as much as it might normally. Let's see, he's wearing his green mask. Let's put a highlight on the nose. I've already got the purples and blues in there, so that's going to shadow out pretty quickly. I know I haven't touched on it before. If you were wondering about the whole Delta Dawn piece, what happened there with Scott, he hasn't responded to my email yet. We talked a little bit here and there at the show, and I don't know if he even saw it, to be honest, or if he's got another person picked out. But honestly, right now, I mean, I enjoyed doing that piece, but I feel like maybe that's not a good fit for me story-wise. I feel like maybe I'm just better suited right now to just focus on my own work. That's where I've been for a while now. The combination of the responses that I got from the folks that came back looking for me, and the just atmosphere that I was feeling at Gem City has really reignited me working on my own work and getting new product ready to go for a couple new shows that I'm looking to do this year. I talked to Tony Berry from Superfly, who's always been super awesome to me, and Alina, and looking to probably do their street fair show in June. Well, not a show, but their shop is in Yellow Springs, which is, if you're not from Ohio, you probably have never heard of it, but it is where they have this. It's a very small town, but it's a very liberal community partly because of the college that's there is a renowned liberal arts college. Alina actually has relatives there. I guess I also now have relatives there, and so the street fair that they have is twice a year, once in the summer, once in the fall, and it is just a big to do. Lots of market stuff, festival stuff, food, people coming and selling their crafts. It's usually really hot at the June show, but Tony, he says he's going to be in West Virginia for a different convention, but Jared will be there, and he's just as awesome. So we were there last year, Lena and I, and the two of them, especially Jared, were just cracking us up the whole damn time. So it was probably the most fun I've ever had, just sheer comedic value that I've ever had at a store appearance like that. So I'm looking forward to probably being there for that again this year. Let's do. Just a tick of gray in that. I've got dust and crap all over my stuff. Our mother-in-law was kind enough to watch both girls while we were at Gem City here at the house, and being busy all week, usually it falls on me to do a lot of the house cleaning and whatnot, but I've been focusing on other stuff all last week, and I let the house get a little bit ragged looking in the process. And Sunday we came back and the three of them cleaned this fucking house from top to bottom. And to be honest, my girls are not super great about cleaning because they would rather not. They'd rather play, which I know, they're kids. I get that. But to be coming home from a con and to come home to what I expect to be a house that seriously needs some cleaning and have it be cleaned, especially to the quality it was. I'm talking they dusted and vacuumed and just everything. We don't ever dust. I couldn't give less of a shit about the dust myself, but not gonna lie, I was slightly embarrassed that it got to that point and that she was here to be there for it, and a little embarrassed that she did it, because it's one of my tasks to be done. But I am super grateful that they did, that they put the effort in, and that I get to reap the benefits of their hard work. So I give her a big hug and thank you and all that, and so that was really, really nice, especially because conventions are so exhausting to come home from to begin with. So I think I might add one more layer of green on this, wait for that beard to dry, and then I think it's going to be done. I try not to get too finicky with the paint, because the more you fuck with it, the worse it ends up looking. But I want a nice clean green to it, because this is a dark green. I'm going to do here. Mostly at this point I'm looking to build a bit more contrast in it. Maybe add just the slightest bit of texture, but mostly I'm going to let the watercolor do that work. I think that'll pretty well take care of a lot of it. kind of funny. Yesterday we were out driving after we picked up my younger daughter. And we were over in Kettering at a stoplight, and Alina looks over and sees a thrift store, that word, because words is hard. And so I was like, you want to stop in? She's like, sure. And then we see that right beside it is Murphy's bookstore there in Kettering. And I didn't recognize the name when we went to it because we decided to go there first. And we go inside, and I'm looking around at the store itself and the shelves and the way it's set up. I'm like, I've been following this place on like Facebook for years, and this is the first I've actually been there. But it's kind of tucked away in a plaza behind some stuff. So it's a little awkward to try and find if you don't know where to look. But we ended up picking up some good buys. I got a Star Trek book and a John Carter of Mars book. I've got Princess of Mars, the first book, and I am missing the second. They had the third, so I went ahead and bought it. It's like the little paperback edition, which I always thought were really cool. Little pulp books. So that was like $3 for that. So I started reading the Star Trek one last night and got about 5 pages in before I started conking out and just went to sleep. So, which is kind of unusual for me. Usually I'm up for quite a while, but I think I'm still recouping from the con. So, knock on wood, I don't have any residual con crud. I seem to be doing all right so far. Lena seems to be doing okay. Yeah, she's just tired, but pregnant, so par for the course. Let's see, let's finish that beard. I'll just use a little bit of straight yellow ochre there. How long are we running? That's 23 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty close. Tell you what, yellow ochre has definitely become one of my favorite colors to use in beards and hair. It's just got that right tint of natural yellow. And just to kick a brown to it. Just a little bit. I'm getting all Bob Ross in here, aren't I? Lena's shaking her head at me. And smiling. Alright, so I'm going to leave that one to dry. And I'm going to call this video finished for now. So that's kind of my general process for coloring stuff. Just ink it like normal, pencil it like I do, and just lay out pencils, ink it, and then can't really do a lot of whiteout fixes, so inking is a little bit more tricky, but the whiteout rolls the paint off of it. So anyway, I don't know, I might add a little white highlights here once it's dry, but that's probably going to be it. So as always, thanks for watching. If you really liked it, subscribe. If you really, really liked it, hit the like button, or vice versa, I guess. Anyway, until next time, cheers.